Hi, this is Pastor Terry here, and this is the first of a series called Journey into Prayer. Journey into Prayer. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm hoping that you've been able to download something that looks like this, that says Journey into Prayer Day 1. And I'm going to be reading from this, so it'd be great if you could follow along. You'll also need your phone. And in fact, if you look on this sheet, if you haven't already done so, have a look at the top, and I'd like to show you where you can find a free electronic Bible. So at the top of this sheet, it says free electronic Bible, and you need to find something called the Gideon Bible app, and so it's there on the sheet, Gideon Bible app. So you might want to just pause this and sort that out on your phone. When you're able to find that app and you've got it on your phone, if you open it and scroll down, and it's on the sheet here, scroll down until you can find something like, I think it's something like 1613 languages. It's a big number, and then languages, and then that will show you where you can find an electronic Bible in your language. And throughout this course, I'm going to invite you to read parts of the Bible in your own language and also with me in English. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you've been able to do that now, and you've taken it off pause, and we're doing this lesson. And so the first thing it says on here is, please find the book of Romans. So in that electronic Bible that you've downloaded, find the book of Romans. It's all split up into chapters, and you'll want chapter 1 and verses 8 to 10. And maybe again, you'd like to just stop the video just for a few minutes while you read that in your own language. So let's now read it in English. So I'm going to read it out here. On my copy here, it's in blue writing. So it says this. This is actually written by a guy called Paul, who was a missionary, a very important missionary that we read about in the Bible. And he's writing to a church in Rome, in Italy. So he's writing to Roman Christians, and he writes this. First, I thank my God through Jesus Christ for all of you, because your faith is being reported all over the world. God, whom I serve in my spirit in preaching the gospel of his Son, is my witness how I constantly remember you in my prayers at all times. And I pray that now, at last, by God's will, the way may be opened for me to come to you. So please just follow as I read this on the sheet and say a few things. So in this course, we're going to be taking a journey together and learn about prayer. One of the most important things that the Bible tells us to do, to pray, to talk to God, to have conversations with God. It says on here, the book of Romans is a letter. It's actually a very long letter written by Paul. It says it was written by the missionary named Paul. And Paul is talking here about praying throughout the day, not just occasionally or at church. Paul is making a very important point about building prayer into our daily lives. He tells, reading again, the Roman Christians that he is constantly remembering them in his prayers. And in case he fears they don't believe him, he adds, God is my witness. In fact, he goes deeper. He constantly remembers them in his prayers at all times. Paul has learned the secret of building prayer into his life. Now, our modern world and demands of life are, of course, very different to Paul's. Paul was a Christian missionary 2,000 years ago in the country of Israel. But look, we can still ask the question, we can still ask, how do we build prayer into our daily lives? How can we invite more prayer into our lives? And I'm just going to suggest one thing. This is a short lesson today. I'm just going to suggest one thing that we can do. And it's on here on the sheet. It says, here is one suggestion. Think about moments in your day when you are on your own. For example, you might be exercising or walking. You might be driving a car. You might be doing chores around the house. Or you might work on your own. Perhaps those times when you are on your own, perhaps those are times you can talk to God. You can tell him about your day. Tell him how you're feeling about some things. Maybe you can pray for somebody. Maybe there's some things you want to thank him for. But take time, try and find moments in your day, particularly times when you're on your own, like being out walking or driving a car. Try and think of times in a typical day when you can talk to God. So it says here, finally, you can talk to God anywhere and at any time of the day, and he will be happy to hear you. So that's all I'm going to say today, and we'll come back to this in another lesson. But see if you can identify points in the day when you're on your own, when you can talk to God. And if you can think of some times today that you can talk to God, well, maybe start today. Tell him about your day. Ask him some things. Thank him for some things. See how you go. And I'll see you in Journey into Prayer, Day 2.